And welcome back. I want to give you guys an update regarding the Arizona housing market, what we're seeing right now at the statewide level, but also I'm going to provide some insights regarding what's happening right now in Phoenix as well as Tucson in today's video. So let's go ahead and dive right in and share what's happening right now at the statewide level, straight from the Arizona Realtors Association here. And this, by the way, includes single family houses plus condos in their metrics in this one-page document here. So let's first talk about listings. I want to say new listings. This is actually total listing inventory. Listings here includes homes for sale plus pending home sales. I think a better way of saying listings would be total unsold inventory, which includes houses for sale plus houses under contract or pending home sales. In any case, there's approximately 33,000 listings in Arizona as of the end of November. Compare this to 1 year ago, that's up by 19.5%, because back in 2021, there was approximately 27,000 listings. Back in 2020, just under 30,000. And back in 2019, obviously pre-COVID, there was approximately 35,500 listings. So listings are up by 19.5% on a year-over-year basis, and more or less on par with levels we saw back in 2019, a little bit less in 2019. Let's also talk about closed home sales. Again, this is a lagging indicator though. For the state, for as of November, there was 6,160 home sales, but this is a giant fallout compared to years past. Look at this. Back in 2021, a little bit less than 12,000 home sales for November. In November 2020, about 12,000 there as well. So the fallout in home sales is falling out big time compared to the past couple of years, down 48% on a year-over-year basis here. But also look at this though, because back in November 2019, there was a 9,788 closed home sales for November here. And compare that to this November, November 2022, home sales are down a whopping 37% compared to 2019. So a huge fallout in home sales. Again, this is the lagging indicator though, what the housing market was like in Arizona approximately 1 to 2 months ago when the home seller accepted an offer from home buyer. Let's also talk about home prices in Arizona as a whole. So the median sold price in Arizona for November was $339,270. Again, this includes single family plus condos. Median sold price just under $340,000. Look at this though. The year-over-year change in home prices only increased by 2.4%, because 1 year ago, the median sold price was only $331,000. So very close into getting to negative territory here. Home prices only have to decline by about $9,000 in order to get to negative year-over-year price growth. But have a look at this, because home prices are up by 2.4% compared to 1 year ago. Look at this though. For home prices today versus 2020, look at this. The median sold price in November 2020 was $271,000. That means home prices have increased by about 25% over the last 2 years. But have a look at this, because look at home prices compared to November of 2019. Because back in November 2019, the median sold price was only $210,000. That means home prices have increased, or the median sold price in Arizona has increased by about 61% compared to 3 years ago. So the point I want to get at is that even though home prices have been declining more or less ever since the middle of this year in Arizona, they're still up by about 61% compared to 3 years ago. And also have a look at this, because inventory has been increasing big time. Look at this. The month supply right now is at 3.2 month supply. That's a 41.7% increase compared to 1 year ago, back in November 2021. So the month supply right now is at 3.2 months, up by about 42% on a year-over-year basis. So that's what we're seeing right now in Arizona at the statewide level. But I also want to go over what we're seeing right now in Phoenix as well as Tucson, two of the biggest cities here in Arizona. So Phoenix, Arizona, let's have a look at new listings. Then we'll have a look at pendings, housing inventory, price reductions, home prices, and of course, much, much more, according to data from Redfin. So new listings for Phoenix, Arizona have declined by 36.8% on a year-over-year basis. And by the way, the most recent trends we have from Redfin is for the 4 weeks ended November 27th of this year. New listings down by 36.8%. Let's have a look at pendings, which of course is the measure of contracts being signed between buyers and sellers. And look at this. Pendings are down big time. Look at this. Down by 60% on a year-over-year basis. So there's approximately 695 pending home sales in Phoenix, Arizona. Compare this to 2019, about 1,300. And back in 2021, about 1,700. Now there's only 695, down by 60%. So huge decrease of pendings and also declines of new listings as well. Let's have a look at housing inventory in Phoenix, Arizona. And look at that. So active listings, which of course is housing supply, is up by 36.47% compared to the same time period in 2021. So more or less on par with 2019's levels, which is this blue line. The orange line right here is 2021. The black line is obviously 2022, this year. So active listings or housing supply is up by 36%. Interesting to see this though, because ever since more or less August of this year, active listings have been declining compared to the previous week. Interesting to see that. But the number of houses for sale are basically on par with 2019 and still above 2021, but not as much as we saw back in August. Because look at this. Back in August, active listings were up by about 55% compared to 2021. What amazes me when looking at this is that we have approximately 36% more houses for sale in Phoenix, Arizona right now. However, though, despite this increase of housing inventory, pending home sales are down by 59.6%. To me, that's really showing us how home buying demand is decreasing big time in Phoenix, Arizona. And speaking of that, let's have a look at the share of price reductions according to altosresearch.com. And the share of price reductions in Phoenix, Arizona right now is at 66.7%. So approximately 67% of all houses listed for sale in Phoenix have already reduced their asking prices, which is much higher compared to the past few years at 67%. Wow. So 1 year ago, the share was about 37%. In 2020, the share was approximately, where am I at? Right there, approximately 37% as well. And in 2019, it was 49%. So the share of price reductions right now at 67% is at least a 3-year high by far. Let's also have a look at home prices in Phoenix, Arizona, according to Redfin here. This is based on the median sold price in Phoenix, Arizona. So right now, have a look at this. Look at that. The median sold price right now at $430,000 is equal to the same time period in 2021. So the price growth is flat, 0% price growth compared to 2021. Because also compared to 2021 at this time, home prices were also around $429,000. So flat compared to 1 year ago, which is pretty astonishing given the fact that back in June of this year, home prices were up by 20%. That's crazy. Back from June, up by 20% on a year-over-year basis. Now it's at 0% growth right now. Also have a look at this, because back in 2021 this time, look at this. Home prices were up by 27% on a year-over-year basis. That's absolutely insane. So from 2020 to 2021, home prices increased by 27%. But from 2021 to 2022, this year, home prices are flat. Also, let's have a look at how home prices have changed compared to the peak, which is more or less June of this year. And let me share with you guys how you guys calculate this, because this is a public website. You guys can go on to Redfin's website and just Google Redfin Data Center. You can search approximately 400 plus US metros and see data on any city you guys want. So let me share with you guys how exactly you calculate this. So here's what you do. Let me move this over here. All right, so 430,000. So take 430,000, subtract that from the peak, which was right here, 486,000. Then you divide it by 486,000. So the peak back in June of this year equals, then you multiply that by 100 in order to get to the percentage there. Look at that. The median sold price in Phoenix, Arizona has declined by 11.5% compared to June. So home prices, or the median sold price, has decreased by 11.5% since June of this year. What's eye-opening regarding this is that how this compares to 2019, obviously pre-COVID. Because look at this, back in 2019 at this time, which is right there more or less, the median sold price was $283,000. And then fast forward to the same time period this year to 2019, the median sold price was approximately $290,000. So looking at this graph right here, home prices were more or less flat during the same time period in 2019, whereas this year, home prices have declined by about 11.5%. So in other words, the housing market's slowing down big time in Phoenix, Arizona. And speaking of that, let's have a look at how fast or how slow houses are selling in Phoenix, Arizona. And that's days on the market. So days in the market right now is at 53 days. Look at this though. Houses on average are selling approximately 25 days longer right now compared to 1 year ago. The year-over-year change at 25 days, that's absolutely insane. Days on the market at 53 days. 1 year ago, it was 25 days faster. So houses taking approximately 25 days longer to sell compared to last year, and well above 2019 as well, because this time in 2019, it was taking approximately, where is it right there, approximately 38 days to sell a house. And back in 2021, it was taking about 28 days. Let's also have a look at the sale price to list price ratio in Phoenix. And look at that, well below 2019 and 2021. Look at this, wow. So 97%. This means on average, houses sold for approximately 3% below the seller's final asking price. So selling about 3% below the final asking price. Compare this to 2021, houses on average are selling for the asking price. Also look at this. Back in the summer and spring months this year, houses were selling about 2% over the asking price. Now again, they're selling for approximately 3% below. And of course, this is much different compared to 2019 right here, because back in 2019, the ratio was around 98% to just under 99% for the entire year. Whereas this year, we saw a huge run up in houses selling for over the asking price on average, and this huge decrease we've been seeing ever since then. All right, that was the latest trends we're seeing right now in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's have a look at Tucson, Arizona to see what's going on there. So new listings in Tucson are down a whopping 45% on a year-over-year basis, well below 2019 as well, down by 45%. So approximately 45% fewer new listings hitting the market in Tucson, Arizona right now. Meanwhile, pendings are down by 53%, well below 2019's levels as well. Pendings are down big time, down by 53%. Let's have a look at active listings, which is right here. So active listings, look at this, down below. Wow, that's interesting to see that. So active listings are down by 26.85% compared to 2021. This is actually one of the few cities I've seen where I've seen fewer active listings right now compared to last year. Most markets were actually above 2021's levels, and some markets above 2019's levels. So active listings are actually down by about 27% on a year-over-year basis. Let's also have a look at the share of price reductions on altosresearch.com's website here. So in Tucson, Arizona, the share of price reductions right now is at approximately 57%, well above last year at 37%, and also compared to 2020, about 25%. And 2019, the share there was about 39%. So the share of price reductions right now at 57% is at least a 3-year high, excluding this peak we had more or less in October this year. Let's also have a look at home prices in Tucson, Arizona to see what's going on there, and that's right here. The median sold price right now in Tucson, Arizona is at $350,000, up by 10% on a year-over-year basis. Now remember, Phoenix, Arizona was flat compared to 1 year ago. However, Tucson is still up by 10% compared to 2021. And we really haven't seen too much of a decrease either, because the peak was more or less right here, which is more or less June of this year, when the median sold price was $366,000. Now it's $350,000, but still up by 10% compared to 1 year ago. But compare this to last year, home prices were up by 19% on a year-over-year basis versus 10% this year. Let's also have a look at how fast or how slow houses are selling in Tucson, Arizona, and that's days on the market. So days on the market right now is 51 days. So on average, houses taking about 51 days to sell, which is taking approximately 10 days longer compared to 2021. Because at 51 days right now, back in 2021, it was 40 days. Also, it's interesting to see here that houses are taking longer to sell in Tucson, Arizona compared to 2021. more or less ever since July of this year. It's kind of been the slow, gradual increase ever since then. And lastly, let's have a look at the average sale price to list price ratio. And list price is their final listing price. So it actually excludes price reductions here. So here's the average list price or sale price to list price ratio is at more or less 98%, meaning houses sold for approximately 2% below the seller's final list price for the 4 weeks ended November 27th this year. This is obviously vastly different compared to the spring and summer months this year, when on average, houses were selling about 2% over asking. And also at 98% right now, compare this to the same time period in 2021, houses on average were selling for about the asking price. And with that said, please comment below your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value in this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Also consider subscribing as well. Hope you guys have an awesome day and look forward to seeing you on the next video.